that what is the message she is going to convey and how she has really achieved what she has done through the NGO Niralgal, because we wanted a lot of members to follow her and do something. So this is happening again at MMA on the 22nd. 24th, we have a workshop on effective communication skill by Vaidhi Jagannathan. One of you know, she is a very seasoned trainer. Then 25th, we have a Chennai Articulators Club Speechcraft Certificate courses. This is a 8 Saturday certificate course. It's a Toastmasters Club. It's an excellent course for the corporate leaders. It's again, a lot of people are already registered for this event. 28th, we have another interesting talk, because more interesting because a colleague of ours from the armed forces is going to come and speak. Human capability is unlimited. The speaker is Colonel Ganeshan, retired Visit Seva Medal, and Colonel Ganeshan was leader of Antarctica team for 18 months in Antarctica. So you can under what stress conditions. But today we have the privilege of having Mr. Ganeshan with us, but you will be listening to him on the 28th, and he is going to share some of his brilliant experience with visuals and what's happening in Antarctica and how he has done. But besides Antarctica, after coming from the Air Force, coming from the Army, settled down in Chennai, he done much more than what he had done in Antarctica. I want you all to listen, and I want to really excite you. That program is again webcast live on the 28th even. You must listen to Colonel Ganeshan if you want to inspire yourself how you can. Human capability is unlimited, what you can make brilliant out of nothing actually. Then of July, our flagship event, MMA annual general body meeting and MMA award function and the seminar is happening on 8th of July at Lee Royal Meridian Hotel this time, the venue. And as usual, we have a seminar at 3 o'clock on managerial excellence. Then the award function in the evening, we are getting some 3 phenomenal speakers to come and speak in the award function. Thereafter, AGM and followed by cocktails and dinner. Please block your diary. I suggest you register yourself now itself with Sundar so that you can attend this event and enjoy the evening, because this is one thing we always celebrate year after. You all know that for the last so many years. Then on the 12th, again, we have the lecture on the uncommon leader, extraordinary lessons from exceptional people. That time we have another exceptional person, Mr. Murthy. He is going to come and speak. And the guy again done some phenomenal work. He is a fisherman turned surfing championship, who runs a world-class, surfing school and world-class surfing festival here and Kovalam Beach and much more. If I sell more, then your excitement will really become more. You already sent the complete details about the speaker in your mail. You must listen to him. And before I also tell one more event on the 19th. Again, an excellent event on the 19th of July. All is happening same venue. There's no change in venue till I tell you whether we move back to some other hotel. Till further orders, all our events will be held in this hotel. On the 19th of India through 50 years of advertising. Again, brilliant speaker. The man who is really known in the field of advertising is Ambi Parmeshwaran. You all know Draft World Kayubi. Ambi is going to speak. And we are going again 2 brilliant speakers to be a panelist with them who is going to speak and share their thoughts. One is Murali, co-chairman of Hindu, and Mr. Srinivasan K. Swami Sundar, you all know him, our past president and managing director of R.K. Swami. So it's going to be a power-packed evening on the 19th to know more about advertising, what is there in future for advertising, and with the way the social media is eating into the system. I think the print media and advertising guru and Ambi is going to come and share. I think it will be a very good insight for us. Please block your diary. And this is July. I think one more lecture in August. There are many more lectures are tied up, but what is confirmed, I'm going to tell you. The uncommon leader, extraordinary lessons from exceptional people. Again, we have a Chandrasekharan. He is going to speak in the month of August, on the 9th of August. And he is an entrepreneur after close to 3 decades of experience of unique space. Music is his thing, and he started the thing Ishwa and a breakthrough product that can demonstrate music. But he turned blind. That's very important. Flights both is blindness and diabetes to keep his venture afloat. In spite of a blind and diabetes, I think phenomenal success what he has done. I think is worth listening to this guy. So keep inspiring yourself. In September, 7th of September, we have the Cabin Care MMA Chindication Innovation Award at Kamarajarangam. As usual, some of you attended last time, and it's a very good event attended by more than 1,400 people. 29th and 30th of September, we have a management student convention again at Kamarajarangam. So before I call upon the speaker today and the chair and the moderator for this evening, I have a small announcement to make. In the new venue, you have to get used to the venue so that the venue get used to you also, so that you won't have any problem. All the car parking is no issue. We have got a valet parking, we've got enough space. For those who are coming by 2-wheelers, when you step out, they'll give you a coupon, the ticket that having attended the event here, so that you don't have to pay for your scooter charges wherever you are parked. So this is the additional facility we thought we must tell you so that you are comfortable. We don't want MMA members to really spend money. They should come, listen comfortably, go away happily. So collect your coupons so that you don't know, when you exit, you don't know, tell them without a coupon, they won't give you an exemption from payment of the fee what is applicable to the two-wheelers. And those who come by walk, please go back by walk. Nobody going to ask you anything. No coupon, nothing. You will be happy to go. Okay. Now coming to today's event, the uncommon leader, extraordinary lessons from exceptional people. When I heard this gentleman, I said, what a fascinating man. Yeah, you must listen to him because it's really an uncommon thing what he has done. Many of us run after wealth, property. We want to go from places. Whereas this gentleman, we are going to listen to him. And something fantastic. I don't want to share because you're going to listen from him. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hand to welcome Mr. Mathew Jose. He's going to be a speaker today. And to chair the session, as usual, we have AVIS. AVIS, can you please come onto the stage and...
Yeah, you can introduce.
And by now, I think AVIS really doesn't need an introduction because you all know him. He's a part of our system now. He's going to be there. He's the one who curates each other month. But still, I must tell you, he's AVIS a life coach and he's an inspired speaker. He's an happiness curator, author, multifaceted personality. It's always pleasure interacting with him and always nice to have him on our board so that he really empowers people, bringing them people so that each one of you can really get a lot of insight on various issues which otherwise don't get time to listen to them. And let me have the privilege of introducing young Mathew Jose. Mathew, all of 28, he's only 28 years old. He has a degree in commerce from Madras Christian College. After his graduation, he could have taken up a regular corporate job or he could have even gone to manage his family plywood business in Kerala. Or he could have seen it as a regular capital venture. But none of these options excited Mathew. Instead, he dived deep into the unknown territory, wanting to change the world with scrap. Yes, literally scrap. He believes in purpose is to awaken the people around him to see the value in waste. This, he feels, is a key for more responsible waste management around us. His 5-year-old bootstrapped social entrepreneurship venture, Paperman, now connects 270 kabadiwalas to 3,500 households in Chennai to ensure that scrap is collected, electronically weighed, and paid for in 60 minutes. Paperman charges the kabadiwala 5% of the total value of each transaction as a revenue. But that's not all what is done. Paperman has introduced a trash funding wherein the customers, instead of selling trash, can choose to donate it to the NGO of their choice. All the 35 NGOs in Chennai use Paperman to raise funds for their cause, which include child mortality, HIV, Forbes India magazine. Recently featured Mathew is 30 under 30, listing one of the young people who is shaping the world differently. I think this is a big round of applause for what Mathew is doing. Fantastic thing. At an age when most of the people want to focus on the career that gives us money, job security, perks, Mathew chooses to drive by the higher purpose. What can we learn from him about being purposeful, innovative, important, profitable? What else we can do? Please go to listen to him through AVIS. Very warm welcome to you. It's a pleasure having you with us. Over to AVIS.
Thank you, Vijay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Am I audible? Is the mic audible? You want it increased? Is it good? Yeah, this is better, yeah. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Vijay. It's always a pleasure being with MMA, and this is a new venue, E for excitement, E for energy, and young Mathew brings both of that with him today for the conversation. Thank you, Mathew, for joining us.
Thank you,
Yeah, just use the hand mic. I want to start with I'm going to come back and give an overview of why we do this, but before that, I just want to ask you, I saw you last about 5 years ago, around the time that Paperman had just been launched. It was at an event that he was leading at one of the coffee shops in the, what is Ashwita otherwise called? One of the stores, bistro, and it was an event where you were inviting people to donate books, and in return you were allowing them to educate a child, right? read to feed, read to feed. So this was the event that I attended, and I noticed that you haven't aged one bit in 5 years. You probably put on a little bit of weight. So what's the secret of your staying young?
Well, I got married, I guess.
Well. I can vouch for that because I'm still young at heart, though I don't have as much hair as you have. Yeah. So I'm still young at heart. So that's so those of you in the audience who by chance are thinking of remarrying, if you have not married already, that's a good cue. So Mathew, thanks for joining us. It's wonderful to have you with us. I'm going to not repeat what is already there in the invitation, and I'm not going to repeat what Vijay has already done by way of introducing Mathew, but I'm going to quickly do a couple of things. I'm going to give you an overview of the Uncommon Leader series itself. See, as business people, as entrepreneurs, as executives, as people in the corporate side, we are continuously exposed to management wisdom, and much of it comes from published literature. These days, much of it comes from digital media, and we are also exposed to workshops with corporate folks. People like Vani and me are workshop facilitators. We focus in the area of workplace happiness. Like that, there is leadership coaching, there is executive coaching, there is quality management, and many things are happening. But we thought there is a world of learning that is available in the non-corporate space, in the not so strictly corporate space. And that's why we, along with Vijay and MMA, decided to curate this series called The Uncommon Leader. When we are choosing people to be guests here, we're really looking at people who have a teachable point of view. Now this is interesting because Mathew is just a couple of years older than my son is. Okay, so I'm sitting like a granddad next to him, okay, and I'm going to learn from him. And that's the beauty of today's generation. I think they bring together a kind of rare wisdom which comes with the ability to take risks, and in Mathew's case, it comes with a sense of purpose. So we curate these speakers or these guests from the point of view of, do they have a teachable point of view? Is there something that we can reflect on? So when you go back today and think about the conversation that Mathew and I would have had, what about it would you like to reflect on? Do they bring to the table resilience, an inner strength, a conviction to stay on the path? And how resourceful are they? Many of us like many things to be set out for us, laid out for us. Budgets, human capital, markets, go-to-market strategies. But there are people like Mathew, and his story is exciting. So when you hear him speak, you will find that he's been extremely resourceful in whatever he is set out to do. So the uncommon leader really is, to me, a person who brings a teachable point of view, makes you reflect, makes you realize that you too are capable of resilience, and makes you want to try to be resourceful. So that's the background to the Uncommon Leader series. Now, just to talk a little bit about one other dimension that we will explore today, I want to tell you a small story. This is a story that's probably, after C.K. Prahlad unveiled it to corporate India at a CII conference at the Taj Mumbai many years ago. This is a story that's been flogged to death in management circles. And this is the story of the Mumbai Dabbawalas. So almost everybody here knows the story of the Mumbai Dabbawalas. Some years ago, Vani and I, my wife Vani and I, we were sitting in an audience like you are sitting right now, and the Dabbawalas were making a presentation. And they were talking about how, if at all, they make an error in their 4 lakh transactions per day, which is 2 lakh one way and 2 lakh in return, 4 lakh transactions per day, if at all they make an error, which is a wrong dabba going to, somebody's dabba going to some other person, like it happens in the movie Lunchbox, okay? if at all it happens once in 16 million transactions. That's their statistic. That's what they showcased to us. Okay? And that meant that once in every 40 days, there would be the rare instance of Ongavita Tairisadam going to Mr. Sengupta, and Mr. Sengupta's Machher Jhol, okay, going to Mr. Deshpande, if at all a mistake happens. So Raghunath Megde, the president of the Dabbawala Association, was making this presentation. And I was very piqued. I said, you keep repeating that you are not making a mistake. You keep repeating that if at all. What do? You have 5,000 people, you don't have computers, you don't have barcode readers, all that I understand your process. But how is it that your team internalizes this? Sir, हमसे 5 लोगों से काम नहीं निकालना मुश्किल है हम लोगों के लिए. आप 5,000 लोगों से कैसे करवाते हैं? 5 பேர்கிட்ட வேலை வாங்குறது கஷ்டமா இருக்கு சார். நீங்க எப்படி சார் 5000 பேர்கிட்ட வேலை வாங்குறீங்க? He said, हम किसी से काम नहीं करवाते हैं. I got even more intrigued. So I said, no, can you please explain? And his answer was this. Sir, हम लोग high quality पे focus नहीं करते हैं. We don't focus on high quality. हम लोग on time delivery पे focus नहीं करते हैं. We don't focus on time delivery. And I was thinking, what's wrong with this man? You know, it sounds bizarre. I mean, this is exactly what they are feted across the world for their high quality. And he's saying, they don't focus on it. They don't focus on time delivery. And then he said, you know, sir, what we focus on? We focus on a simple fact. Nobody should go hungry, and everyone should get only their home cooked food. Now look at this. Nobody should go hungry and everybody should get only their home cooked food. That sense of purpose ensures on-time delivery, ensures that there is never a mistake in delivery. And that is what I want to focus on today in my conversation with Mathew. This sense of purpose. Now, purpose is a very magical word, people. In economic theory, an enterprise is defined as a place which shall make a profit. Because if you don't make a profit, then you cease to be an enterprise. An enterprise must make profit. That is what you are taught. But purpose goes beyond profit. Purpose is, why are you in business apart from making profit? Now, purpose can deliver you profits, but purpose goes beyond profits. And the purpose is best understood in the French language. It's in French, there is a phrase which we use so commonly in English also, called raison d'être. Raison d'être means reason for existence. So why are you existing as a business? Why are the Dabbawalas existing as a business? Why does Paperman exist as a business? Apart from being profitable, apart from being an economically viable enterprise, Paperman exists because it wants to awaken people to the value in waste. It wants to change the world with scrap. So that is something that we will explore in our conversation with Mathew. I'll keep coming back to share with you any perspectives that I may gain from Mathew. So my first question to you, Mathew, is it's been what, 5.5 years now exactly?
It'll be 6 this July.
Oh, so we're almost 6 years. Okay. So fantastic. So just a month away from your 6th anniversary. Okay. So you finished your BCom at MCC, and then you had, as Vijay introduced, you had 3 options. You could have gone back to your plywood business in Kerala, your family's plywood business. You could have taken up a job, pursued an MBA like many of the other people your age would have done, okay, and got yourself a job, or you could have set up a completely capitalist venture, okay. Now, what drove you to set up Paperman, okay? And I will just qualify this, and I will let you elaborate it. isn't it a rather unromantic business to be in, unglamorous business to be in, working with kabadiwalas and waste?
Definitely.
So, over to you.
So, a very good evening. So my change, am I audible? Yeah. So the trigger did not exactly happen right after college.
Okay.
So I went to college like any other BCom graduate. I passed college. I wanted to, so I didn't want to get into a conventional business stream. That's one thing. Nor did I want to get into the plywood industry, which I've been seeing for 20 years, ever since my childhood at home. I want to stick to Chennai. I like the freedom Chennai gave me. I come from Kerala, and I was here for 3 years. So I like the freedom Chennai gave me, and MCC was a great place to be in. So then I wanted to extend that. So that's how I started working with, I think most of you might know, Mr. M.B. Nirmal of Exnora. Right? So I started working with Mr. Nirmal of Exnora for right after college. So very, very soon right after college. And that is where I got the transformation happened. Right? So that is where I saw the passion that 66, right, year-old Mr. Nirmal, how he used to get excited about waste. Like an 18-year-old, he was so excited, and like an 18-year-old seeing the first college girl, no, like that's how he's about waste. He's so excited about it, and I think that was infectious, right? So that passion that he had, the excitement he had, was so infectious, and that is how I got really, into the space. I started thinking with him. We used to sit like, say, morning 7, we used to sit and we used to talk about waste till this is a 21-year-old talking about waste from morning 7 to night. We used to sit and talk so many things. We used to talk a lot of things. That's how my start to this space happened. So I was there for a year. It kept evolving. It kept growing in me. Then at a point, there is this, though I come from a business family, right? For me, and Exnora or Mr. Nirmal is in the NGO line. It's more of an activist side of it. So for me, this always this constant thing of measurable impact is there in my blood. It's sort of like, what is your impact? If somebody asks, like, you do 100 events, you do so many things, but what is the real impact, right? Do I want to keep creating awareness to the same close bunch of people? Again and again, or do I want to spread it out nationally? Do I want to find in this room the person who's least bothered about what I do and find a way to get him to do what I do, right? So that's what really excited me, and that is when I started the thought process behind Paperman, and I still think it's still evolving. So it's not like the idea just happened like a big bang. It was one bang followed by many bangs all through, which is still happening, and I'm hoping it continues to happen. Yeah.
Fantastic. What I love the clarity with which you answered.
Thank you.
I'll pick up one line and go back to you to ask you to elaborate on it. I know Nirmal personally, so I can almost feel his energy when you were talking about him. So you did talk about his having the ability to infect another person with a sense of purpose and with that exuberance, right? Now, at an individual level, as 21 something, that might have been okay for you to accept it, okay? But how did you deal with your family that might have been in waiting in Kerala for you to come back and join the business? How easy or difficult was it, even at a time when you were not clear about how you wanted to structure your enterprise? Right? It was only an idea at that time.
I think many reasons helped together. I think one was my father. He was very, though he never says, like he never tells you're doing good, keep doing it. He never says it. Still now he still never says it. But he kept silent. Right? So he gave me the space. And I think that's a big thing dad or parents can do for the child. Right? So when your child is saying, hey, I'm going this path, I'm going to take this path, I don't think I can bring any money back home for some time, right? So what he actually did is he gave me the space. Figure your way out. So he had a similar thing. He did his graduation from Mysore, and he had to go back and start a family business at 21. And so his life went in that pattern. So right. So I think he wanted me to explore something different, though he's never told about this, but it was very evident. He gave me the space. And I was quite lucky, you know. So I think I chose the name right, Paperman, right? So Namkaran, you say in the thing, right? So I think the name really clicked, and though even before the idea really formed, the name really kept going, spreading across. That there is this guy, small, yeah, 21-year-old, doing this something called Paperman, and I think within a year or two into doing Paperman, within a year I got a few articles going. I got a big launch in the Metro Plus front page. And ever since, it's just a lot of articles that kept.
So did that help in
That
the
really did.
on the
So
family side?
yeah, every time my mom has a confusion about what I'm doing, I used to send a latest paper article across. So after a point, that helped, you know. Though I was still quite confused about how I want to structurize this and strategize it. But the awareness activity which I was doing was getting a lot of recognition in the media, and that helps. So yes, so that helped after a point.
Fantastic. I want to just pause here very quickly. This is very important, people. When we are dealing with ideas and when we are floating ideas, I mean, whether you are the chairman of a multi-billion-dollar enterprise or whether you are running a small organization, a startup, and are having a clutch of family investors, so to say, getting buy-in is extremely important. And this buy-in works at three levels. It works at board corporate levels, it works at idea levels with investors, and most importantly, it works with family. And I think the third buy-in is extremely important for us to make progress in life, which is buy-in from the family. If your family cannot relate to what you are doing and why you are doing what you're doing, chances are that 50% of your waking time will be stressful. And so it's a fantastic perspective that you're sharing, that bring the buy-in by keep feeding them with positive information on your venture, on your idea. So when did the idea crystallize? So we talked about how you got inspired, and we talked about how lucky you are that your father did not or your parents did not come in the way, and how you used that space very, very craftily, very creatively, okay? But how did you crystallize that Paperman is going to be looking at awakening people to realize the value of waste, okay? Now, you were entering a space which is unorganized, okay? There have been kabaddi-walas for generations, right? And you were entering a space where customer attitude, popular user attitude is very, very dysfunctional. It's very cold. It's very detached. I don't care where I throw my waste. Yes. Okay, and I would like to give it as long as I get a few bucks out of it. Yes. So how did you crystallize the idea into what it is today? Mm-hmm. And how did you dare to enter this unorganized sector? What were these triggers for that?
So I think a lot happened in the process. So it was not one idea, as I said.
Again, it was not a big bang.
It was not a big bang. It was not a big bang. It's a series of thoughts that evolved to what it is today. So it is I would say the first thought might be, if you can consider as a big bang, was the simple fact that the realization that every person, there's a need to do good within every person, right? There's a need that everybody at the end of the day want to make a difference, and we really sometimes we want recognition for that, right? I'll give you a surprising fact. India has got 33.4 million NGOs and trusts registered in India. That's for every 400 Indians, there is one NGO or trust registered.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
Right? And everybody has got a secretary, head. No, this forms all trusts, all society, and this and that. Out of this, only 20-25% are functional. But that itself is a big number, right? But see, so I thought about it, like say, so within every Indian, there is a want to do good. And that is very strong. And that's across the world. That's very strong. So I don't actually sell, I don't actually collect trash from your house, right? I actually give you an opportunity to do good. I make you feel that, hey, so why do you sign up with Paperman? It's not because you want to clear your trash. It's because when I do this, my conscience makes me feel, hey, great, I did something. right? I am doing that little bit. Let me do a little bit more. So I see trash as a gateway to your minds to helping you do a little bit more. So
Fantastic.
that was the trigger. But then the strategies, everything is
We'll
just
come to the strategy in a bit, but I think for the audience's benefit, can you walk them through the Paperman process? Why do you say that it is a gateway for doing good?
Good.
What happens in the Paperman process?
Okay.
Just elaborate on that.
So conventionally, Paperman, what to help you understand better is you all know a Kailangadakar or Kabadiwala, right? You all have interacted with them in your lives, right? Paperman is only reinventing the way you connect with them. In essential, like we are only reinventing the way you're connecting with them. But earlier you were connecting with them, right? In some form or the other. It has reduced drastically over the years as because our disposable income has increased so much, and we don't see that value in the 100 rupees that you get from your trash lying at home, right? Especially for the newer generations. Like people are used to it. My mother still gives out. My grandmother still, they're used to it. They even may know the Kabadiwala or the Kailangadakaran by name, but the younger generations who are really getting into the city really don't understand the need to connect as well. So what we have done is we reinvented the space according to the new change in the society, the market. People go to websites now, right? People no longer want to go around your street finding a local kabadiwala. It's too out of the thing, right? So what we've done is we bought a website where, hey, we have profiled these 270 kabadiwalas. So we bought inventory from them, right? Where they can go and collect from homes, that sort of a thing. So you can book a collection and then we send the local kabadiwala to your house. We have a call center where you can just leave a missed call and we send the local kabadiwala at your preferred time to your house. This month and we are coming out with our first app where you can do the same again. So what we've done is we're just the same thing of going, and remember you all still might hear this one guy going around the street saying paper in the morning, right? You heard that guy? So we just changed the way that happens, right? Bought a lot of sort of what do you say of ease around it. We just eased the process, made so in the process what's happening? You are getting your stuff cleared from your house. He is getting more organized income as well. Right? It's assured income. So we have a minimum business guarantee that we deal with the guys. So he is assured of a better income as months move by. So that's how the model works. So it's pretty much similar to what
what's the connection with other NGOs? How do you connect that dot?
Okay. So this is the primary dot. So for fundamental dot is to connect a kabadiwala and the household. This is the primary. So I have two types of customers. I have people who are recycling for for a cause or charity. I have also people who recycle for cash as well. So the fundamental where you actually give it to this kabadiwala, you get paid for it. So 80% of our customer base are people. User base, I would not say customer base, it's a user base. User base are people who recycle for a charity. This is because earlier we started only that as a fundamental process, and now it's still evolving because a lot more NGOs are talking about it and it's moving forward. So in this case, it's simple. It's like when you give your waste to a kabadiwala, trash like paper, plastic, glass, metal, electronic waste, when you give it to a kabadiwala, he'll pay you that money for it, right? Instead of that money accumulates with him. We have a field officer who collects the cash from him, and in certain areas now we made it app based where he's actually putting the money directly into our account and things like that for scaling purpose. So now we collect that cash from him and we supply it, we send it across to the NGOs. So it becomes a fundraising platform for NGOs, right? So we call it trash funding. This model trash funding. So it's sort of like a latest crowdfunding platforms where you can actually pull in cash for an NGO, but here in case of instead of cash, it's trash. So that's the model with this. What this does for NGOs is that all these things where there is a materialistic thing, there's a lot of donation that's going into it. Because somehow in India, though we want to give, we don't trust when we give. There's an element of that problem is there, the trust element. Like, hey, I would like to give, but I want it to go into particular things. I want that when I give, I want them to buy 10 chairs with that. If I give, I want them to buy these specific things for it, right? So we want to change that. The fund that Paperman gives has no conditions.
So they can use it for working capital.
It's used for working capital. It's like, hey, we believe in you. If this is 20,000 or 30,000 rupees, very small amounts today, yeah? If that money comes to you, use it to change the world.
So can the customer choose the NGO?
Yeah, you
The
can choose.
beneficiary?
You can choose the NGO.
Okay.
So you use that to change the world. Use it because we believe in you. You see, for all purpose, not that you got into this NGO. We have a very stringent process of getting the NGO on board. But once they are on board, we give them complete liberty to exercise how they want to go about it. And the idea is not that you have an orphanage, say with 80 kids, right? The idea is not that in 5 years you should run an orphanage with 8,000 kids. That's a wrong impact, right? So there was this one of our NGOs which runs an orphanage, and there was an MP who came there, and he cut the ribbon and new building constructed, and this is what he said: I hope in next 5 years this orphanage will have 8,000 kids. Right? It's like you cut it. But that's the wrong impact. That's not what you want. The idea is in 5 years this orphanage should cease to exist.
Fantastic.
Right? So that's the social. In social space, that's the thing. In company, in a corporate for-profit space, we want it to grow and grow and grow. Right? In certain elements, I look at something I'm seeing in 20 years. If we can achieve the purpose that we achieve, I think Paperman should not exist any further. It should be a part of every person. Should not exist. So it's about non-existential, right? So that's I think, yeah, something like that.
Very, very nice. Very well put. Two important critical takeaways. Thank you. Two important critical takeaways. One is changing the paradigm. You are not picking up trash, but you are giving an opportunity to the user to do good. I think that's a phenomenal paradigm shift because the process with most kabadiwalas is cumbersome. You are not assured of proper weight, and there is therefore a continuous element of mistrust. And Paperman comes in and guarantees proper weight, efficiency of pickup, and end user connection, which is with the NGO. So I think that paradigm shift is very, very powerful. I think you thought through it very well. And the second part which I pick up is the idea of supporting NGOs with working capital as opposed to wholesome donations, which are in any way they are pretty efficient at raising, but they struggle for their operating costs, and this kind of funding should help them immensely.
In the longer run, we are looking at this should be a considerable part of. Sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah. In the longer run, we are hoping that this will be a considerable part of the. Am I audible?
No, you need to turn it on. I think it moves. Oh, it is on. Now it's on. Yeah.
So in the longer run, we're looking at this to be a considerable part of their working capital, because see, the one good thing about this is trash is happening every month. It gets created again and again, right? So one user joined in, say if he brings in 100 rupees a month, in a time, say if an NGO's got 1,000 users backing them, that's a lakh of money a month. So at a point, we're looking at close to, say 10 lakhs a month that an NGO can raise from this. And that's considerable money.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money sitting sitting somewhere out there loosely in a very unstructured manner. Right? Unorganized manner.
And that money, if it goes to the NGO, the power of this money is, you know what, I would come again. See, if somebody gives 10 lakhs to build something, it's there, right? This 10 lakhs is given to fight that cause that he's doing. To really look at it from a different angle. To like say I said, for an orphanage, to think how to stop this, how to cease to exist. That is the idea. So the idea is to be a powerful change agent to disrupt that space. So I think that is what I think this money will do. And we see this 10 lakhs more powerful because it's coming from 1 lakh users. 10,000 users. Right? I'm a little bad with math. I'm sorry there. So it comes from 10,000 users who are engaged with your NGO on a month-on-month basis, right? And that's an experience. So you have 10, and this 10,000 users are again a powerful lot, because when you are engaged with your brand every month, you tend to do more for the brand also. It's not just money; it's about connections. It's about leveraging a bigger impact through them as well.
So your numbers are don't turn it off. Let it be on. So 270 kabadiwalas.
Yes.
3,500 households at this point.
Yes.
And how many NGOs do you support?
So it's not 3,500 households alone. We have companies,
Okay.
around 3,000 households, 250 odd companies, 100 odd schools, a mixed bag, then some shops, smaller companies and stuff like that, yeah.
Okay. And how many NGOs do you support?
Right now, 35.
35.
35
And
NGOs.
you're restricted, your operations are restricted only to Chennai.
It's only restricted to Singh. So we don't work on an area-based model. So we work on a location-based model. So it's one kabadiwala shop and 1.5 kilometers around the shop.
Okay.
That's the radius in which we work. So
That's how your 270 Kabadiwala cells would work,
Yes.
right?
So across.
The circle of influence.
The circle of it.
Okay. So we have been users of Paperman. I don't think Mathew knew about it, but we've been users of Paperman for like about more than a year and a half now. And we find the process completely seamless. Everything that he explained just now works brilliantly. And, they pick up everything. So the tragedy with other kabadiwalas is that if you gave something away and they don't see value in it, they won't pick it up. But with Paperman, they pick up even e-waste, even if there is no value for e-waste at a face value level, they arrange for it to be disposed of responsibly. And therefore, you can at least trust the hand that you're giving to so that it is going and meeting a logical end and not lying in a dump yard somewhere, creating more problems for our environment. But I'm going to come to a more serious question. So we talked about the model, we talked about the business model, but let's now go to where rubber meets the road. Where does Paperman as a social enterprise make its money?
Okay.
How big is your team and how do you sustain? It's been 6 years. I know the challenges of running a organization and meeting. I was consulting with a company in Pune, and there were a lot of factory hands in the workshop that I was leading. And as I kept talking about purpose and leadership and how all of us have to contribute to the organization, one of the people, about 60 years old, on the verge of retirement, stood up and he said, "AVIS Saab, thoda mujhe baat karna hai." I said, "Okay, fine, please speak." He said, "Sahab, भाषण से राशन नहीं भरता है நீங்க உரையாடினத்தினால என் வயித்து வந்து பசி அடங்காது சார் from your speech I cannot feed my family so how do you deal with the reality of running an enterprise meeting a wage bill and how have you been walking that tightrope?"
It's been difficult. I'm not saying it's easy ride. So for the longest time, it was a struggle. For the longest time. So I was there, I'll say 3 to 4 years initial, because the clarity of the idea was not there as I would talk today about it. It was like, any opportunity come in, go make the best of it, right? So that was the process. So survive till you get clarity. That was the initial idea. So it was hard to get a team also around with a guy who's just surviving this. So initial first 3 years, I did not have the team together. I think
What, you were just alone?
I was alone. I had interns working with me. I had the brand going my way.
Okay.
So Paperman as a brand was evolving. Paperman in the network, the connection was going. There was no sustainability in the model. There was a lot of people interested to engage with the brand. So that I would actually say that it was sort of a universal MBA period. I would not see that, it was a universal MBA period. I was learning from everybody. I met you guys. I learned a lot from you. I was doing events, but I was learning as I was doing. So it was sort of universal MBA period. Then the big step happened when one of my friends who quit Bank of America and joined me in this pursuit. That was a big step. And I think when you get that first follower, the first person who believes in your crazy idea, and that's when things change. So that's a big thing. So he actually, when he joined, I think it just transformed. The way I thought transformed, the way I thought about sustainability changed, right? The way I thought, okay, I need to establish this as an organization, that came into, that essence of it grew. So from that, within like say 10 months, from one person army, within 10 months we moved into 9 people.
Okay.
It was very transformative. The process grew well. We were charging a 5% on the kabaddi walas. We were getting a lot of people together. So out of these 9 people, almost 6 people actually agreed to work with me without cash.
Wow.
For the first 8 months. So there was a vigor, there was a passion, right? So if you want to bring people together, it's not just money that works. I think money is like you mentioned about the Dabbawala story. I don't think any of these 5,000 people work for big money, right? It's the purpose. It's the, hey, I'm also going to do something together. I'm going to be an integral part of something that's going to be big. That feeling that, hey, I can be a part of this and this is going to change the space, right? And yes, like you said, ration and passion are an important element. But for many youngsters today, the good thing about today's thing is our parents have sort of like set, there's a little economic expectation from kids today.
There's
right?
Lesser
The lesser, I would say, yeah, the lesser economic expectation. So that really kind of helps. So it gives us a space to explore, right? So that was there. So I got a big team together, but then it became ration and economics all came into place, and I started learning about ration and economics, which is essential to survive, and then we evolved into different concepts. Like say now we also sell whatever we collect. So we in a home level we aggregate, right? In the shop level we segregate, right? In the industry level we sell.
Okay.
So then
you created a new revenue stream as well.
New revenue streams as well. So we have a revenue
apart
stream.
from the 5% revenue
It's
sharing?
a B2C and a B2B.
Okay.
There's a B2B there where we are selling to the industries.
So how big is the team now?
Team is now 8. So we haven't really moved into things. For me, the good thing is what we have done is we have invested heavily into technology. So for me, operations is actually run by one person. Entire Chennai operations is run by one person. The call center just got one person running the operations at any given time. And for us to start operations in any new city, it just takes 2 people. So we are very operationally light, which is something that we build. But we build heavily on the technology. So be it the location mapping or the service, and we have over 2.5 years of development that's gone into technology, and that's something which happened for me also. It was a great learning curve because I didn't know anything about technology. So first 3 years was a universal MBA training, last 2.5 years was about being a tech product manager sort of a role. So I think it was a mix of, I think the right mix for today's world, I guess. So I got it both from no university, from fun, but learning from the people I got together.
Awesome. He's just come back from a 1-week residential program in Kolkata with the IIM Calcutta. So he's just come back from there. So from a universal MBA to a structured classroom, his quest for learning is taking him in different directions. One point which he made is worth picking up here, which is that survive until you get clarity. And I think when you are launching anything new, when there is a new idea which others have not tried, this is the key. And at a very spiritual level, of course, there will never be clarity. So you will never know where things are going to end up. That is a very, very spiritual thought. But at a very practical level, survive until you get clarity is a phenomenal thought process for an entrepreneur to hold. And the second point, that's you don't always need money to inspire your troops. You can work with your troops if you have a higher sense of purpose. So I want to dwell a little bit on that. I read somewhere that, I think one of your interviews, I read that you talked about the fact that users, consumers, people like me, Vani, anybody in the audience, we begin to value something if we see it being used responsibly, right? Or if we see a reuse opportunity for it. How did you kind of crack that, with your audience base?
No, the value, I didn't understand.
The value that I would get when I dispose of my waste, okay, is in a monetary sense is the same. But how did you go about convincing the user that they are actually creating more value by saving the environment? How did you drive that sense of purpose into the user's mind?
Okay. So
what methods did you use there?
Yeah, I just do this by.
Yeah, please. You want me to hold the mic?
No, I think it's
Now it's okay. I think you have long fingers. Yeah. Okay.
So this plastic bottle, right? If it gets recycled, you would earn say somewhere around 20 pies for this, right? Now the entire plastic bottle that comes from your house over a year, if you recycle, that might create say 150 rupees, 100 to 150 rupees, say an average, right? In a year. That will send a child to school for say 25 days. Now, if you can send a child to school for 25 days by giving this plastic bottle, does that convince you?
Does that convince us? Yeah.
Now, I'll take another example. You all go for movies, right? So we buy a ticket. Till the movie is there, is there like we just hold the ticket in hand. What if somebody comes and asks for the seat, right? So, but the minute the movie is over, what do you do to the ticket? You discard it, right? Imagine you step out of the theater and you see a bin over there that says, drop your ticket here and a child will go to school. Does that convince you? That's the same thing that I used with trash funding. So we are helping the NGOs. At the end of the day, NGOs also helping us influence people with their great stories of change. Mm-hmm. They're influencing us to, or the people to give that more and more trash to them. So Indians don't recycle because of the environmental change. Orissa, when flood happened, we say, "Ye to hata hai." Every year it happens, right? We are not very connected environmentally to the change that happened. Global warming is beyond, because most of the Indians don't have a roof on the top of their house. You can't talk about global warming in India, right? But Indians, again, when I'm coming back to my first, Indians are very socially connected.
So they want to do good.
They want to do good. And doing good is better if it's socially connected. If a child is involved in it, it's even better. Recycling as such. So when we combine both these things together, it just adds a power to what I told you in the beginning. We are creating an opportunity for you to do good. And that becomes more stronger when you have a social change and an environmental change happening together. So yeah.
How do you deal with your dark moments? I know your blood group is O positive,
yes.
So you're a very positive person. Because his Facebook account is Mathew Jose O positive, and I thought that's a very creative idea. If we can all add up blood groups out there to our names, then people will at least know to whom to contact in case of a blood donation drive, right? Yeah. So that's how socially conscious he is, even on social media, okay? So I know you're very, very positive, you're young, but how do you deal with your dark moments? Are there frustrations? Do you feel like you're hitting your head against a wall sometimes? People are not understanding, attitudes are not changing as fast as they should. And that's part A of the question. And part B, the Ashoka Fellow, and he's an Ashoka Fellow. The Ashoka Fellow model basically supports you for an X period of time, right? So as to give you the opportunity to continue to be a social entrepreneur without having to wonder how your kitchen fire will, how your ration will come in, right?
Yes.
So how helpful has Ashoka scholarship, fellowship been in that direction?
Yeah. So first I'll answer the first thing you mentioned, that O positive thing, right? So one time I got an invitation from a college and they actually thought O positive was my second name. So in the invitation it was printed Mathew Jose O positive. So it also has its, so they took the details from online, so that happened once. Second, I think the second, how do I deal with my dark moments? Well, I had a great bunch of friends together. So the good thing I stayed back in Chennai was initially for them, right? There was a good group of things. So great circle of friends. It really helps, because once you are done with this work and you're back there, there is no respect or value for what you do and talk or what you do with this. Great friends from college. So that helps. At the time I spend with them really helps. So I think having a great bunch of friends around really helps. Second is, see, there was a purpose to this thing. So every time a problem comes into place, I always used to get more excited. I'm not saying that there are definitely dark moments, but certain things that happen, really can excite you also. Certain challenges that come. Hey, you're going there for a pitch and the pitch didn't go well, right? It only energizes you to do better. Trust me, I'll tell you honestly, one thing that even today, like the Forbes 30 under 30 or the other things, does not excite me as much as going for a pitch and failing. The same day, I think the Forbes 30 under 30 came. I was in a pitch in Mumbai. I was doing a pitch to an investing council, like for raising this thing, and we didn't get through. Right? So my aim is that, hey, now I'm going to wait for like the next time that's going to come, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to get that. I learned more from that failure than this thing. So I think every dark moment is a great reflective period. Because your head is not high, or you're there, and you get it. You get that point to get that reflective brand. For a youngster, you're bustling with energy, and I think these dark moments are great points for reflection. So I love those spirits personally. Though your shoulders are a little down and you're a little thing, but if you can.
But you're a tall man.
Yeah,
you're a tall man.
So if you can find the time to quietly sit and reflect on it, it really helps. So that's one thing. Second was Ashoka. So Ashoka Fellowship came last year around mid. Hello. Yes. So Ashoka Fellowship came towards the end of last year, or beginning of last year. So that was a great booster. It really took what I was doing here and then actually showed me 3,500 people across the world doing stuff like that I was doing. So you didn't feel like it's a lone journey. So for me, it was like, say, 4 years into Paperman, and you feel like, hey, I'm doing this ever. Sometimes those dark moments happen, but the best thing Ashoka did was it actually showed me 3,500 other stories of amazing entrepreneurs across the world doing large-scale innovations, large-scale changes, and doing it all with passion and vigor, right? There were guys planting millions of trees every year. Through that, there were people bringing water to 5 million people who did not have access to clean water in Africa. So these are big changes of social innovation. There were people, and I think a very common famous company, Delight. Last year's Nobel Prize winner, Mr. Satyadri, right? Yeah, so there was Mohammed Yunus, microfinance in the sea. So this is a huge bunch, a huge group of people who have great stories of courage. And suddenly with all their stories, mine looked very small. I was bragging about 4 years and the struggles and all those things. And then you see these people who actually stood by their belief and purpose for 20 years. Without any paper writing about them, without anybody recognizing their things, and they made it large. Right? So I felt, I had the easy way, So I had the most easiest way ever. So I think that was the biggest thing Ashoka brought in. And then Ashoka does a lot to connect us between each other. So that it's a great networking pool. So like today you have your great networking happening over here, people having conversations. So we had this opportunity to talk with everybody. So we have a cohort every year where we go to a place and we have like say 6 days. We all get to connect and talk to each other and things. In fact, tomorrow there's a dinner that's happening, which is we're bringing the fellows in the city together and stuff like that. So that's a good thing. Plus, yes, there is a monetary support that is also very ration to usse aata hai initially. So yeah, so it gives you that 3-year window. You are a Ashoka fellow for a lifetime. But the financial support comes for 3 years, which is good, which you can actually, then you don't have to worry about your those things, and your wife is not worried, right? Then you're much peaceful at doing what you want to do. So
I want to crystallize what you said, but is your wife already here?
I hope not.
Okay.
I think yes.
So she isn't here. Okay.
I guess
no.
she's
I wanted to ask you. So how has she taken to your entire journey? Is the romance that Mathew has for saving the world, is the romance married into by Elizabeth?
Yes. So she keeps me on check though, right? So it's a good thing. When I over-romanticize that, she says, hey, look at me also in between, right? So that's it keeps a balance. But yeah, we met 2 years back. So by then I was fairly into Paperman and work was all. So she knows me for who I am and the struggles I've been through. And so from when we started seeing, met each other, I had this very broken down bike. So which we have traveled the entire city with, like we have gone around. So she's seen me from that period. So she knows me for that, and she gives me my space, which is again what I think what my parents did and what she does today is she gives me that space. She doesn't go over the board. I would not say again motivating or pushing thing like that. She gives me my space, and she knows that I want to do this. Is something that I love the most, and that's great. And today with my friends, she gives me that space again when I don't want to think about this. I want to be the normal guy who I want, like any other thing. She is there for that also.
Beautiful,
right?
beautiful.
So I think
you're blessed, and I wish from all of us here that this romance between you and the environment, and this romance between you and Elizabeth stays, blossoms,
Thank you.
and continues. But I want to come back before I open up for audience questions. I want to come back to something very, very important. He stressed on. He stressed on the dark moments and how purpose helps overcome dark moments. Now, there is no life which is going to be problem free. There is no path which is not going to have a speed breaker. Okay? When a speed breaker comes, when there is a tire puncture, जब हवा निकल जाती है காத்து இறங்கி போயிடுச்சுனா என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க? அந்த மாதிரி நேரத்துல தான் purpose வந்து ரொம்ப ரொம்ப important. Because purpose is why are you doing what you are doing? Apart from wanting to make money. So purpose really was, there is a fantastic set of books on purpose, both written by the same author, Jim Collins. Many of you may be familiar with Jim Collins. One is Built to Last, and the other is Good to Great. And in that he says that purpose is what differentiates good from great. So there are good organizations, there are good people, and there are great people. Okay? Success and legendary performance. So people driven by purpose deliver legendary performance. Fame and legacy. People become famous doing stuff, but purposeful people leave behind a legacy. And people doing good, doing successful ventures make a lot of wealth. There is a lot of wealth creation. But purposeful people leave behind value. And so purpose is extremely important. If you can wake up in the morning and ask yourself, what am I going to work today for? And if that answer is not about money and not about material asset creation, that is your purpose. That should drive you headlong into a dark alley, if there is one that day, and make you move forward. And to borrow from young Mathew over here, survive until you get clarity. So that is something that I picked up in the last part of your conversation.
Can I add something to it?
Please.
So, like you mentioned, people connect. Google started with a single purpose, right? Profit is a resultant. Profit and recognition and all those are results. It will happen as you keep moving. If you follow the purpose, it will just add on as you keep moving, right? Google's, when they started this, the single line to which they used to come to office every day, the small 8-member group, they used to come to office every day, was organize the world's information at your fingertips. That was the first thing. Organizing the world's information. Today, you see any Google product, you take a YouTube, it's bringing the world's information through videos to your fingertips, right? You see Google Maps, it's showing you how to go from here to Kodambakam. It's bringing that information to you, that how you can go. They're sitting over there and telling you how you can go from E Hotel to Kodambakam, anywhere around.
Actually, for me, when I was trying to book my Uber, it was showing me E Hotel Chennai, and the next one was E Hotel Paris. So anyway, so continue. Organize the world's information.
Organizing the world's information was their purpose.
I'm glad you brought up Google. Very, very.
And you take any big companies, Apple or anybody, right? If you actually go in and find this purpose, I think there's a great, there's a really good video in TED called from Mr. Simon Crick. It's a really good video. You could just check TED video by Mr. Simon. You will see how great companies have evolved with purpose in the center of it. It is not profit.
I want to add here before I go to the questions, because this triggers a beautiful memory for me. Arvind Eye Care Hospital, the man, Dr. V, okay? Dr. V started Arvind Eye Care after retirement, okay? And today, Arvind Eye Care is the largest eye care system in the world. They do 3 lakh cataracts. They do 2.4 million outpatient treatments. They make a 35% operating profit, and only 30% of their patients pay for the remaining 70% getting the treatment free. The purpose of Dr. V's enterprise, he's no more. The purpose of Dr. V's enterprise, Arvind Eye Care Hospitals, is to be better instruments for the divine force to work through. எவ்வளவு அற்புதம் பாருங்க. To be better instruments for the divine force to work through. There is no money there. They're not talked about money. They've not talked about doing X million surgeries. They're just saying we are instruments. And can we be better instruments for the divine force to work through? So purpose பத்தி பேசணும்னா பேசிட்டே இருக்கலாம். It will be a beautiful conversation, another conversation. But let me now open up the conversation to the audience. We have about 12 minutes. So I'll take questions very quickly. I saw that hand go up there. Sir, your question please. Yes, you can ask a question, please. Here, mic is coming your way. The next question over there. Shalil, I'll come to you.
Now, you were talking about the
Yeah, it's on, sir. It's on.
Dabbawala story to create a purpose. How to create a purpose for 5,000 people at one stroke? One can nurture a purpose. How to maintain that for such a long period? A purpose for the entire team. This is question number 1. We are looking for uncommon managers and uncommon leaders today. The common managers and the common leaders are overburdened with their knowledge and past experience. They are unable to react to the current situation. A person who does not know anything can do things much better than a person who has long years of experience. This I want to share with you. I came from Raja Annamalapuram to Express Highway today by taking a cab. I just want to see how things work in an unorganized sector. I paid 175 rupees to come to Express Avenue 4 days ago. Today I wanted to try what will happen if I take a share situation. I booked for a share Ola, and immediately he came to my place without asking any address, anything. He asked how much I should say. You pay 47 rupees for me. You please understand, he came to my house with 2 more passengers and he dropped me. It took me 4 extra minutes compared to my 175 rupees paying 3 days ago. 47 rupees I came to this place, and finally I was the last person to be dropped. I asked the driver, are you happy with this? Sir, I am extremely happy. I got 310 rupees today by 3 all of you, while you would have paid 150 rupees if you had traveled alone. No, we are looking at management in the unorganized sector is much better than management in organized sector.
I appreciate your point, sir. I'm sorry, I have to.
No, we are asking about 6 Sigma. I think Dabbawalas are working at 8 Sigma level.
Of course they are. They're much more than 6 Sigma.
We have refused to learn from the situation. That is the problem.
Sir, I'm sorry, I cannot have more observation here. We need questions. But I'll answer your first question, sir. How do you take purpose and impregnate it in your team? The word is impregnate. That takes time and takes a lot of honest conversations and compulsorily requires walking the talk. A Dabbawala organization has got a 125-year history. A Google has got only a 20-year history? Only a 20-year history. Now, it is not the tenure that matters here. It is the ability of the leadership to walk the talk and to be seen as living the purpose. Okay? The rest of it was observation, completely taken on board. Sir, you'll have to wait. Somebody's hand went up at the rear. Please sit down. Please sit down. Yes, sir. Yeah. அவர்கிட்ட கொடுத்துருங்க ஒரு நிமிஷம். அப்புறம் I'll come to you, sir. After that, I'll come to you. நீங்க உட்காருங்க.
Hello, Rajamani. What's the impact of Chennai floods on your organization?
Chennai
Chennai
floods
floods
on your business. Sir, can you pass the mic to save the time? Give it to the gentleman so he's ready. Yeah.
So, it was Chennai floods had I think the biggest impact, I would say, what happened with Chennai floods was a lot of our people's shops there were affected. So more than a thing, like, many of our Kabadiwala's partners, many of them have shops towards the riverside, and a lot of their shops were affected, which was the first thing that got. So we did a lot of activities pertaining to them, helping them to recoup and things like that, giving them larger period of working capital and things like that. So it actually went on till last month, in fact. So now they're all back in shape and shops are good, and they're running well. Second impact on Chennai floods was suddenly everybody became very aware, right? Because see, the trash is something that you put outside the house, and you want it to disappear from your view, right? I say, yeah. The floods, what it did is it just brought all back into your house. Right? Where is this thing? So suddenly you're saying, whoa, what is this? It was just everywhere. And this is the same trash we had just put yesterday or day before yesterday, like into that, without anybody seeing, we put out there. Flood just brought it back in. So that really created the big buzz among people about waste and things like that. We had corporation calling in us for helping. We had a lot of people calling in asking, what do I do, and this thing. So it was more of a...
You mean it stirred the consciousness?
It definitely did stir the consciousness. I think a big change happened in Chennai, where I think, though it's a sad event, there was a big way in which people started thinking, awakened to it, and it really changed the way a lot more people. I think the conscious group in Chennai, if I say, it's increased drastically. A lot more people are now thinking about the effects of their work and things like that. But having said that, after that, IPL has come and other things have come, and people have forgotten already.
I hope you don't need another flood to remind us.
It's a human process. We keep moving up.
Yes, sir. Your question.
Sir, my name is Raghupati. I'm from Hill Park.
Yeah.
I just want to put only two questions. One is seeing your success. Is there anybody who has copied your method, or any competitors you are having who's doing the same thing? Second thing is, in the December 2000 floods, all this paper, trash would have got soaked in water. Did you collect that, and you will be losing, in the wet condition if you take all this material?
Yes, so I said, there is definitely the floods actually was affected us in the business side of it also, which again you need to just get on with it. I think the idea is that it happened. Yes, a few weeks, you figure out how do you compensate for it. Like you said, the dark periods, those issues happen, and then you figure out how to move out of it. Because see, after those 1 week, the next 4 weeks are going to be good. Right? So after that we again recouped. We did better business. We pushed this thing. It gave us the vigor to really push. So the problem that created actually that 1 month brought the unity among 270 guys so much that we have done 3 times the business we did before that. Awesome, right? Awesome. So it was a big change. So you can use such instances to your advantage also. It's an opportunity as well. Like I said, such kind of things actually bring a big change. It really triggers it. The first thing, I'm sorry, the question you first... competitor. So competitor is a great thing for us, right? The more the space gets, say I'm how I see it is, it's an industry, right? Any industry gets better with more players getting into it.
What a noble thought at a young age, I tell you.
It makes my work so much more easier, right? Convincing, talking about it, because 6 years back when I started, the whole process, it was difficult because you're putting a whole new concept to people. I had to talk to a lot of people. Very difficult to convince people about it. But today, yes, there is organization coming up in Bangalore. There are organizations coming up in Chennai. There are other people who are emulating models, or they are coming out even better models. Right? There are organizations doing great work, which actually what is happening is it's increasing the thought process in this industry. Right? So we get to the problem faster. And I'm now thinking, hey, what is he going to think? So I need to beat his thought, right? Which is only making me a better person and the company a better organization, right? So I think, yes, competition is coming, and it's a great thing. And I think it's a great thing for any industry. Having a good competition it can really push you to give great service. In fact, yeah, it's with the purpose.
Your question.
Good evening.
Yeah.
My name is Shalil. I'm a HR consultant from Bangalore. Couple of questions to you. I work with a lot of young people in my line of work, And one of the things that I also find is that a lot of the sort of values that we are used to seem to be eroding.
Yes.
Younger people, particularly in the age group of 20 to 25, seem to want everything here and now. Whereas, in fact, I see a very refreshing change in you in knowing that your line of work actually has a long gestation period. It's something that's new, it's completely unstructured, it's pioneering work, but that's not exactly what I see as far as young people go. Now, I'm not asking you to be an agent of social change, which you are already, but what is it that you would teach your children so that they can be different from what I see today?
That's a very far-sighted question.
I don't know because just married 6 months, so I have not even thought about it that far. So firstly,
Or at least some of your own age.
yeah. So yeah, if it comes to the kids, I think I would do what my parents did for me. They give them the space, right? I think that everybody is got a thought process, and every individual has his own process. Be it my child or be it anybody I'm related to, anybody. I think the best thing you can do is to give the person the space to have their thought, trust in that person, and give that space for that person. Because, like you said, no, everybody within them has a goodness which will come out. I mean, just give the space to. I don't want to influence so much. That's one thing I probably might not try. I don't know, but it depends. Again, yeah. Again, one thing I would say, you said the youngsters. There is a strong purpose among youngsters today to do good. The millennials are doing amazing things across the world, right? As we speak, I speak today. I'm actually quite old in that gang. Like, you know, it's a 20. I'm 28, and there are 21-year-olds, 20-year-olds who are cleaning up oceans, who are raising 100 crores of rupees. Right, so I'm seeing a different side to youngsters across the world. There's a 19-year-old African boy who's actually made an innovative brick, which is completely environment friendly, and he's constructed huge numbers of buildings in the last over period. So he's viably proved it also, right? So there are a lot of great changes happening driven by millennials, 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds across the world, which is a great sign and which is motivating a lot of people. Second part of what you mentioned is that, yes, as millennials, we are so used to the fingertips, right? Like, we want information coming here. We are used to that. You know, as a youngster, when I want to play a game, I had PlayStation or whatever. So we are used to all these things. In fact, I think it's actually more of a thing that was actually by my parents did it. They gave us all. You know, they didn't make us struggle to go around, because our generation actually went around to get everything, you know. So when it came to our kids, that we felt that, let me give it all to them. That was the notion. Like, I don't want them to struggle the way struggle I had, so let me give it all to them. So what happened in that process was the social skills got a little affected, because you don't know how to ask much, right? And that also affected the patience a little bit. So I have youngsters working with me, right? So when I look at Paperman, I see that it's a long haul thing for me. If my goal setting, if I would put is like, say, if I can have no landfills around the world by 2040, I think that would be a great thing. So if I can put so many years of work, that would be a great thing. But when I started at 21, I thought I'll do this all in 25. So yeah, so it's that patience has evolved. I think over a period, you understand that, you know, you have to be patient to create that impact. So youngsters come into the space, they lack the patience, as you said, they want it all right now, right? But I think it's an evolutionary process. I think every 20-year-old in any generation was always impatient, right?
Profound.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a thing. So it happens with the aging, I guess. Yeah.
So is that? I think we have just time for one question. Last question.
Can I ask?
You want to ask? Okay.
Mathew, the products that you collect from households and give it to the kabadiwalas.
Yes.
How much of it is actually recycled? Would you throw some light on whether it is actually recycled, or is it again trashed, and how are you so sure that it actually goes to a landfill?
Yeah.
Is the recycling process sustainable?
Yeah.
And my second question is, at some point in time, would you try to sensitize your customers towards reduction of the waste by choosing alternate methods? But then would that be against your business philosophy? I mean, it would affect your business.
Yeah, I'll keep it. So first question, the guy, the kabadiwala who comes to your house buys everything for a price. Nothing is taken for free. right? When you buy something for a price, you always want to sell it at a higher price. Economics. So nothing goes to waste, right? There are items that they come to your house and they'll tell, Amma, idu poga. Some certain things like say like say chocolate wrappers, very thin pap. So that's very honest out there. There are things because there are no established markets for recycling them. So we could not do much about it. And so in the other level, like I said, where the B2B side, we are working with the various industries to build markets for these things so that there can be a better flow. But it's a long run thing. It's a long run change. Second question, in the longer run, reduce is definitely a better option than recycling, right? Reduce is a better option than recycling. But at the rate the market is going, right? Reduce, if I used to initially talk about reduce more, right? When I was in schools and, I used to go and talk like, say, we should take less and, that's the best idea. Reduce, reuse, recycle. This is the chain, best way to go about it. But what happens, in the evening the child goes back to home and he sees Shah Rukh Khan saying, buy that, buy this. So the Mathew Jose who said something over there and Shah Rukh Khan who's in the ad who says, buy this, and it's not a competing factor. There's a big imbalance. Right? There's a big imbalance. So the best thing to do today is to create that loop because you are looking at a larger marketplace, right? You're looking at the larger. In the longer run, once I get the mind share, slowly, yes, we want to figure out because my business philosophy is giving you an opportunity to do good. So I have to keep finding what is the good thing to do. And I will find a way to monetize it. Don't worry. I will do that. So yeah, I will, this goes as evolves.
Awesome. I think Elizabeth has just joined us. So welcome, Elizabeth. He had very nice things to say about you.
Thank you.
And, I want to just repeat that just as a romance with the saving the world is there, we hope that the romance between the two of you blossoms and stays. So thank you for joining us. I want to say that
you and Vani have set a great precedent, so
we never tire of each other. So first of all, thank you for the wonderful conversation we had. I think
great to be here.
Thank you. I think listening to him, I'm just reminded of what the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche had to say. Had to say. He said that the one who has the why to live for can overcome or bear any how. The one who has the why to live for can overcome or bear any how. I think he has the why to live for, and that brings me great joy that the young generation that's following us, the world is in safer hands. So I'll leave the floor now back to Group Captain Vijay Kumar to close the evening.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful talking to you.
It was great to be here.
You can interact with Mathew, stay back and interact. He's a wonderful person to know.
Thank you, always. I think what you summed up, I think the future of India is in very safe hands. I think we have more Mathew, I think is going to really add a lot of value. In today's world, where we all believe in God-man and Spider-Man, I think Peterman is really very, very important. I request Sanjay to join us. We are presenting Memento on behalf of Harmony. You also join. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
Proper photo.
What is the book? You must already got the book. I think you got the book. Let me give it to you also. Nice book.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good night. Get back home safely until we meet again. Bye bye. On the 20th, 22nd, and 28th. Block your diary. See you.